Hey guys, here is another recycled denim project. This project has a little story behind it. A friend of ours was thinking how to make a birthday gift to his girlfriend extra special. He was telling us about Julia's left a bag of clothes behind to be given to the charity shop because she couldn't fit it into her luggage. She's Australian and he's English, you see. So I said to him, bring it here and I'll see what I can make out of it. The result was this cute overnight bag with spring and summer written all over it. So I had to wait to upload this video so the special bag can fly all the way to Australia. So here is it now. I hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions. Love to you, Jules, if you're watching this. Anyway, let's get started. I've been given a bag full of clothes to turn this into a small gift. Let's see what's in the bag. There's a couple of tops, a black top, t-shirt, something with the beads on, a black jeans, blue jeans, pillowcase and a top. I've decided I'm going to take these three and let's see what I can do. I have got 1, 2, 3 and 4 panels from the denim and I have ironed out all the pieces. Before I go further, I want to show you something. Keep this aside and I'm going to turn the pillowcase inside out and cut the seams open. Turn this inside out. If you've got time, you can actually unpick the seams, but I haven't got a lot of patience today, so I'm just going to cut the seams off. Going to trim this off on both the sides. So there you are, you've got such a long piece of fabric that you could use. I think I'm going to use part of this for lining and I'm going to use all the phrases on here just to do an applique on top of the bag. These are the 2 panels from the back of the jeans and this is the front one, which is slightly smaller one. Instead of joining them all in a straight line, what I'm going to do, I'm all going to join it in the way it is shaped. It's all like a cross shape and you kind of get a fish in between. So what I want to do is fill this fish up with this fabric. I have cut out all the pieces that I want to applique different phrases on. I'm going to keep this aside and this is the leftover pieces. So basically I just want this to come in between, sort of a little bit of white showing through. Okay, I have got applique paper here. These are the patches we're going to sew onto here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut an applique paper. Well, let me just take the fabric off. I've just taken a piece of fabric which is quite thick, and basically what we're trying to do is to give strength to this fabric. This is quite a thin fabric which is used for pillow covers and they're not very heavy, but we need to match it with the denim, with the weight of the denim. To do that, we're going to bond this fabric into another fabric which will give us a thickness to go along with the denim. So I'm just going to put this on the wrong side and basically keep my applique paper onto there. I turn this to the fabric I want to fuse. And there might be a little bit in the side, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep the applique. This is just paper now, there's no glue, so I'm going to keep this on top. Fabric is bonding to the other fabric. I'm not going to trim all around, I'm just going to leave a little bit extra. I have done another one which is the same here, and that is almost the same thickness as the denim piece. I will take one piece of denim and I'm going to keep this underneath, place my denim on the top and place this denim on the top. It doesn't matter if it's showing a little bit yellow there because this is going to all close. So because I need a plain piece of fabric, this is what I'm going to do. Pin these together. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to go and sew zigzags on top of this so this becomes like a plain fabric. If you've got a lot of threads left in your bobbin or cotton, just go ahead and sew whatever color you Okay, I'm going to sew a straight stitch first, and then I probably would sew a zigzag stitch. So this is where the other fabric is, so I'm just going to go and start that end approximately, and okay, here is what we have sewn. Just to make it a bit more neater, I'll go and sew an edge stitch like a zigzag, so this is covered properly. You can see I have done this sort of fish shape just to join the two panels of denim, and if I show you the inside, that's how it's going to look. But this is all going to be covered with lining anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and trim a little bit of this off, because otherwise that might create problems later when you wash the denim or when you wash the bag. So as long as you have about ½ an inch, that should be fine. That will lay flat and it won't twist or turn because it's quite a thick fabric now that we have bonded it. I'm going to go ahead and join this panel as well, exactly the same way, and creating this sort of an effect in here. I have sewn both the gaps here. Now what I'm going to do, fold this into half. It doesn't matter what size it is. I'm going to make as big a bag as possible with this piece of denim, and then I fold it into other half. Basically just see that you have got all 4 layers. Take a measuring tape or a ruler, and roughly I can get about 14 inches all the way along. I'm just going to go ahead and mark at 14 inches, and then I join it in a straight line, and when I do it this way, I think I can get about 12 inches. So I'm just going to mark 12 inches. Just reduce the size. If you want a smaller bag, just reduce the size. Let me go and trim one layer at a time, because this is quite thick and heavy, and I take that as a template and trim the other one. Now I do the same on this side as well. Okay, my piece is about 24 inches wide and about 14 inches high. I want to make this as a handbag, not as an overnight bag, so I'm just going to chop a little bit off. Instead of going on both the sides, I'm going to save some fabric and take about 4 inches. So the width of this before we sew would be 20 inches by 14 inches, and this is already on fold. So I'm going to cut this off. I'll fold this back because I just want to help you make your own patterns instead of buying patterns for this one. And also, I don't want a square, I don't want this pointy bits here. So I'm just going to fold this into half again and try and do a gentle curve. I'll just go ahead and cut this off. Okay, this is going to be the base of my bag. This is into half, and if I turn this around, it really doesn't matter if your shape is not exactly neat. If you want it more squared and just give a little curvy shape at the edge, go ahead and do it. I'm going to keep this aside, take my other leg of the denim that I have, and just cut across a straight line. I turn this around and try and get a wide width, because I want to give a wide gusset to my bag. Okay, so I have got my gusset here. I'm not sure if this is going to fit or not. It's going to be a little bit shorter. However, I'll show you what to do. Fold it into half, then there's no confusion. I'm not sure whether this is going to be long enough or not. We're just going to try and see. And this is the panel I have. What I would like you to do at this point is just go ahead and make 2 notch marks. At the same time, at the center of this, because this is going to be a center point, just make 2 notch marks. So then you will always get your center lines. I'll take the edge which is straight of my gusset, try and do a notch mark here in the center. And then what I do, because it's always tricky to make the square when you have a continuous fabrics like this. So I'll just go ahead, just ever so slightly make it a gentle curve, not a round, but just a gentle curve like this. So what you do basically, this is all going to be ½ an inch stitch. place it to the edge of the panel here so that the fold is on the fold, and hold your fingers and just ease your way through, all straight line, don't stretch it, just normally as if you're going to patch it up, just like how you sew. Okay, ease your way through, go to the center point, hold your center point here, that is going to be your, and then that is going to be a center point. I just hold it and make a notch. Okay, now you've got your center point, just fold this halfway through and see if this is enough. What a pity, we are only short about so much. You can either go and make a join here, and I'll see if I've got enough leftover fabric. I might have to make 2 joins, so what I'm going to do is I will just take a little bit extra. This is the side of the bag that we cut off because the bag was too wide. Just like how we joined one on top of the other on this panel, I'm just going to go and join this in a zigzag and go and join this on the top of a zigzag, so it sort of matches to the front of the bag, and then come back and trim them. I have joined, if you can see, those 2 patches here, and I have got a lot of extra fabric left here, so I'm just going to trim this off. Now I fold it at my center mark and then hold it here, and that's my pattern. Let's go and trim this, keeping it as a template, go and trim all around. There you are, there you have got your gusset, which should fit properly. In case if you think this is not going to fit perfectly and you're a little bit paranoid about it, take the gusset, shorten the gusset about 1/2 inch from this. Now this pattern fits perfectly. I would just trim about 1/2 inch. What happens is you would have a little wrinkle. This panel will be a little bit extra. All you do in the center joint when you come to the center would be just to give a tiny little dot. That way this won't be excess at all. The gusset won't be excess at all. This will be excess. Okay, let's go ahead and start. Okay, before we go ahead, we need to do some markings. This is your gusset panel. Fold this into half and just measure it. This is about 2 3/4 inch wide. So I go and mark 2 3/4 inch wide here and just make a marking. At the same time, I go back on the other side and make 2 3/4 inch marking. Now hold this mark and make a notch mark, and hold this mark here, make a notch mark. Hold both of them together and see if they're matching. If they're not, then you need to make sure that they match. Mine's a little bit off, so I'm just going to trim this and make another notch mark. So why do we need this notch mark? Okay, let me show you. We're going to do some applique on the front and back of the bag. We don't want the applique to go into the base of the bag because the gusset is going to be the width that's going to be the base. Let me just go ahead and see. That's where it's going to join, so that mark will go off. I'll just make a little chalk mark so I know that my applique shouldn't go beyond this point. So you also know that this is going to be the base of the bag. So we'll do our applique here, pockets, applique, whatever design you want to do. Okay, I want to use this pocket, so I'm just going to trim this off. And because this crotch is coming high, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this like in a U shape, so I could still use this as a pocket. Okay, when you lay this pocket flat, what you're looking at is this needs to sit quite flat. Okay, I want to put some applique on the side of the gusset, so I thought I'll make some marking before I put my zip up. This is the center point where we have already made a notch mark, and usually you get your zips in inches. So I'm going to put either, when you look at this bag, you need the zipper opening at least about till there. So approximately measure it, and let me measure this, and that's coming up to about 25 inches. So I will go for the 24 because I can get a 20. I think the longest you get is about 22 inches, unless you buy something on a roll. It probably would be better to go for slightly wider. I think I'll go for the 22. Now 22 will be half of this, so I'll take 11 inches from here I'll take 11 inches from the center and make a marking, and again it would be best to make a notch mark. I also go ahead and fold this in a straight line and make another notch mark. So anything below this notch mark I can do an applique, because this is going to be in the side. I have cut out applique paper the same size of the fabric, and I'll go and iron this, and then I'll go and place this here. There's the right side of the fabric and there's the wrong side of the fabric, and if I turn it round, this is the paper side and facing the fabric is the glue side. Let me just go and iron it. Just take the paper off. Try and cut this to the shape you would like it to be. I'm just going to go into shape. It doesn't matter if it's not very neat, because we're not trying to create a project that's very neat here. I quite like the look of it, so I'll just go ahead and place it there. Keep at least ½ inch away from the seam and just go ahead and iron it. Now go and do a zigzag stitch all around and your applique is done. Place the center of your foot to the edge of your applique and then sew a zigzag stitch. That's your applique done, and it's very neat. Okay, I have cut the pocket up. Instead of patching it like U-shape, this looks a little bit odd to me, so I want to add a bit of color. This is the top that I chose earlier. Keep my back panel onto this and see if it covers the full length, and it almost covers. And also this might stretch a little bit, so this is going to be more than enough. So let me place it like this. What I want to do is at least the bottom half, I want to cover it a little bit of color there. So I'll just cut this. Keep it there like that. And then what I do, I'll just cut a little bit extra on the pocket. Okay, I have got the sewing edge and it's going to be too thick to sew if I just do this on the top. Let's trim this off.